I'll make it right again, but it's no use, you said. And my hunger grows and grows. I have to write the meaning of my life, or else everything's in vain. When the glory tries to tempt you, it may seem like what you need. But if glory makes you happy, why are you so broken up? So tell me how it felt when you walked on water. Did you get your wish? Floating to the surface quicker than you sank. I know. So tell me how it felt when you walked on water. Did you get your wish? Floating to the surface quicker than you sank. I know. Don't say you lose just yet, get up and move ahead, and not only for yourself, 'cause that's your role, the work that stirs your soul. You can make for someone else. One day you choke, your urges overflow. An obsession wears you down, but don't you waste the suffering you faced. It will serve you in due time. So tell me how it felt when you walked on water. Did you get your wish? Floating to the surface quicker than you sank. I know. So tell me how it felt when you walked on water. Did you get your wish? Floating to the surface quicker than you sank. I know.
Hey everybody,
I'll
happy
make it
Wednesday to you.
right
Hope you all are having a wonderful evening, wonderful week so far. Welcome, of course, to Midnight Hatter Live, the weekly variety show where we talk Gundam, gaming, and Gunpla. I'm your host, Stephen Bayless, aka Midnight Hatter, and joining me as always, the Blue Gamer, Gundam Explainer, Adam Blue. How are you, man?
Right. Doing good. Like I told you before we started, glad we're here at Wednesday. This week is going by a little faster, and it's always a good sign when we have this show because it's this show, tomorrow's show, and then Friday. So,
Exactly. It's like building up the weekend, hyping you guys up. Last
yep.
week, I think we had a lot of fun. I oddly enough, I got more views on that stream introducing like the world and scope of Magmex than I've gotten on just about any other show that we've done in the last
Really?
6 months. So that makes me very excited. I've gotten a lot of positive reception from people. So thank you guys so much. I am feeling very encouraged by that. Yeah,
Dude, I love that. That because that's just gonna so I guess that says a lot because I think it's cool. And I know like you're hearing we say nice things about each other's work all the time, like, but the thing is, it's like, it is shockingly cool, but it's what's cool though is then how that, I wonder what caused that spike of interest.
you know, I can't say, but I am gonna ride that wave, and we are going to continue working on that
Yeah.
stuff. Not tonight, though. Tonight, we are going to return to Gundam, if only in a superficial sense, because as I've talked about for the last couple weeks, I was really excited when I got this new Cobra X from Anycubic, the new
Oh
3D
yeah.
printer. I've got deck boxes in stock on the site now. Actually, quite a few of them. That I don't know if you can see them on my shelf here, but
Oh.
I'm like I've got like a little display going, which is kind of cool. So definitely hit up the store if you have not already picked up a a deck box. I should have done a special design for the new Phantom Aria set that's coming out, but honestly, I've been so like unplugged from the Gundam card game scene. Like,
Yeah, I feel like that's kinda happened. Anytime something comes up, it's always about, like, tournament level discussion,
right?
and real quick, where
Yeah.
do we go for your store? Um,
Oh, midnighthatter.store.
midnightheader.store. Okay, cool.
Thank you for the, reminder.
Yeah, no, yeah, because I d I mean, I got your mat from there too, which is awesome. I've even used it as a mouse pad.
Yeah,
Um
likewise, I have used your, Gunpla
Oh,
building
yeah,
mat
that's right.
as a mouse pad. I've actually used it in some videos, that we've
Yeah,
done. Um,
that's
yeah,
cool.
there's been it's been subtly featured in a lot of things that I don't know if people have even noticed yet, but I can't say more. Um, but yeah, I have made, action bases for Gunpla in the past. I've made a couple of
Oh,
them available on the Patreon to download, so like the AUG, crest, the Titans crest, things like that. I made my own logo into an action base that I was extremely proud of. This I actually had featured in a Hobbytown model competition, and I ended up rather than, well, and I'll show you some examples here in a minute, but rather than make it just like a peg joist where you can plug the action base into it, I actually just made it one solid piece because I don't imagine that I'm ever gonna like take this apart. Um,
yeah.
but there's pros and cons to that. Like obviously this is super stable. It's not gonna come apart on me. But if I had to travel, if I was gonna enter another model competition or something like that, it would be nice if this folded down, right?
I see what you're saying. Yeah, but I do also like that idea of it just being a single, because sometimes those things can get finicky when I'm
Right.
even taking off, then it pulls off or the adapter piece fell, and I'm like, "Well, let me put this back."
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, so tonight I thought we could design another action base, another product that I'm hoping we'll throw up on the store because now, again, utilizing this larger print bed and this multicolor print option that is available to me, we have the ability to do some really cool stuff with action bases. Um,
Heck
so
yeah.
if I may, let me hop into our screen share for just a moment.
Yeah.
I'm going to show you guys what is currently available out there on the World Wide Webs for free.
Hmm,
So over on Thingiverse, and this is where I originally got the idea to start designing some action bases, you can find 3D printable action bases that, this is just a basic Xeon crest. It looks really good. They did a great job designing like the beveling that comes up off of the crest there.
yeah.
They designed it with a 7 millimeter peg hole, which is essentially like the generic size for an action base. So this actually doesn't have the post on it. You have to provide your own post, which,
Mm,
not necessarily a bad thing. Yeah, see, it fits like a standard action base post.
I see. So this is more of like adapting something. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And then, like, one of the unfortunate side effects of that is that like that action base has a flat bottom but the Xeon crest has a beveled top, so it doesn't lay flat when you plug it into the base. It like actually kind of has a little play to it because it doesn't sit flush, which is
Oh,
another
interesting.
reason that I'd like prefer to just have it sculpted into the action base.
Yeah.
Additionally, and this one I think is really cool, this is the
Yeah.
G System, action base that's designed to go with, like, the, EXS Gundam, the S Gundam, Zeta Plus, that kinda stuff. The design of this is really cool because they designed it to split apart, the same way that the shoulders of the S Gundam split apart and that decal separates.
Oh, wow, that
So
I
kind of
guess
cool,
but why separate just for that
just to
look?
mimic that design,
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
And
That's actually
obviously this has been hand painted, you know, like, you can kinda
yeah,
see the oh, well, has it been painted? I'm pretty sure it's been painted. It doesn't look like this was done on a
yeah.
like, on a multicolor printer. It looks like it was printed in blue and then painted white on the tops. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Um,
It's yeah, it looks
so that one's
painted,
pretty
but
cool, but again, it's pretty much the same thing, you know, it's
yeah,
kinda limited in scope.
yeah,
And finally, we have this one, which is a Neo Xeon insignia, and this one actually does look like it has its own, you know, action base arm,
yeah.
and it's got this little adapter peg that fits onto it, so I guess it utilizes, like, something there. I don't know.
It is pretty cool.
It's another good looking one. Again, I like the way that the top is kind of beveled. We're gonna try and incorporate that into our design too. But there's something that I think we can do to make it even better.
Okay.
What we're going to do, and I was inspired by this idea when I was trying to develop my own action base for like the electronics that I was using. So like with using like my microcontrollers, I was like, I need an action base essentially for the Mercurius and V8 that I was using, and so like in order to have them plug into my microcontroller, I, I didn't have enough space in the model kit for the controller, so I was going to somehow hide the controller in the base, and then essentially run wires from the microcontroller up the stem to the model kit, and then I would be able to control everything wirelessly. But I was like, "Well, that really only benefits me. It doesn't benefit everybody else." Um,
Okay.
so instead, I was inspired by, this is a little LED lamp that my wife got me for my birthday. I was inspired by the compartment design of this, and I was like, "Oh, well, you know, here's a USB port, here's a compartment, like, yeah, that can work for my thing." But then I was like, "Well, wait a second. What's something that people actually need in their action bases?" Is storage for all the extra accessories. So if you've
Yep,
got your Gunpla posed up with a beam saber, but you need a place to store their beam rifle and their bazooka and all that stuff, most people will just toss that stuff in a sandwich baggie or a Tupperware, or you know, you've got
yep.
stacks and stacks of boxes in your closet full of accessories. This, I think, is going to be a super tidy way for you to keep all of your accessories together with the Gunpla that's on the stand. And if you ever want to swap them out, you just pop it open and do so.
Yeah, that is a must. I mean, in fact, I think it's crazy that that's not a thing.
So I was chatting with our good friend Ian, the mod over on the Gundam Explained Discord
Yeah.
server, and he mentioned that there are some exclusive Robot Spirits action bases that do have that, but it's never been done for a Gunpla, and it's definitely not been done by like you know
Yeah, there are some gimmick like stand stuff, yeah, that has that so yeah, that is true, but and then you would think though that for Gunpla that that would be a big deal, especially
right.
customizing.
Yeah,
Now
I mean, I've got stuff sitting all over my desk. You're like, oh, you know, I was just playing with my Zeta Gundam, and here's the beam rifle because
okay, well, so this is the thing then. So from a standardization, should the length of one side have to be at least the size of a Zeta beam rifle, or, what would be the most typical longest item?
I see where you're going with this. Yeah,
Yeah,
there probably needs to be a minimum viable compartment size. I
yeah.
guess we would have to look at something pretty silly, like we have the Zeta Gundam Hyper Mega Launcher.
Mm,
And again,
that's
this
a
is just a
good
high grade. So, I mean,
oh,
now,
yeah.
would this necessarily fit in my action base? Probably not. So this might have to be a slightly larger scale action base than what people are typically used to. Um, do I have any standard size ones around? I don't think so. But basically I kind of sized this at like 5 inches. Um, Not necessarily because I thought that that was a standard size, but that was the largest size that I could print on my resin printer in one piece. Otherwise, I would have had
Oh,
to split it apart. But again, since we're working with a larger print bed, we do have the ability to go big. So let's go
well,
big.
here's here's a robot spirits one, but but it's funny because it's all empty on the bottom. Like that could have been perfect opportunity. And so
There
yeah,
you
the
go.
back is where it has the standard plug, but what it has is this part that the plug goes into, you can take it off and put it on multiple sides, as well as this tag. That could be
Yeah.
something like,
A
yeah,
customization tag.
yeah,
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 we've got a lot of stuff that I think we're gonna be able to do with these once we get them rolling.
yeah,
Um, well, sweet. With that in mind, let's go ahead and jump into Blender and take a look
cool.
at what we've got here. This is my just kind of standard working file that I always use. In fact, I probably need to update it because I have the build area. Oh, not that one. This one. This is the build area, like the volume of my resin 3D printer. I hard coded it into this template so that I would always be able to have a reference like, okay, if I design something this big, like, is it going to fit on my print bed somehow?
Oh, that's a good idea. Yeah.
So I probably need to design a box like this for the new printer where it's like, okay, so if I've got 270 by 270 by 270, that's like which, hey, why not? We can just take this and we're just going to set it to 270 by 270 by 270. So I'm glad that I did this live because it shows you guys like the difference in print capacity between
Oh,
the two printers. So now this is what this would look like. Oh, hey, shout out speaking of Ian, thank you for the $2 super chat. What about
oh,
adding a weapons rack that slides on? That is not a bad
oh,
idea at all. I think that that could actually work quite well.
that is a good idea. That is
Um,
almost like adding more of a gimmick, uh, lore gimmick, narrative gimmick, I should say.
yeah, yeah, I mean, even if it were like what if it were just like a panel that opens up and you've got, like, basically your hanger set up?
Yeah.
Um, Because I don't think I have it handy, but I do have one of those, like, little chain base hangers that, it's got, like,
Oh,
the
yeah.
base um, and
Yep.
then when you wanna start getting really silly, you can, incorporate one of these bad
Oh,
boys,
yeah.
the, induction wireless LED ring. Then you've got
Wait, so it's almost like you could be creating some sort of base system, like base system, and then, there's just so many different modules that you could add on.
so I think we're
Yeah.
probably going even harder in the paint than I initially planned on, for tonight because, yeah, one now that you're talking, like, modularity, I'm thinking we have a standardized compartment size that works on any base. We've got standardized parts that can kind of clip together. We're basically making our own, UMP,
Oh,
to use
there you go.
Gundam parlance.
Yeah.
We're making our, United Maintenance Plan action bases.
Love
Uh,
it. Love it.
yeah. So thanks again, Ian, for the super chat. This is
Yeah.
yeah. Now, I am cheating a little bit because typically how I would design a 3D model is we bring in our reference image, we do like, the tracing and all that stuff. I think what we can do is we can skip ahead to the fun part because and coming from a 2D graphic design background, I'm just used to working in like vector software anyway. So
Mm.
this is a EFSF crest. And like here, I can actually hide let's hide this part. So you can see it's just the EFSF crest. But what I did was I designed a shield that kind of wraps around it because obviously, as you saw with those example ones, like the Xeon ones, that there's full holes, so like there's no room to put like a compartment in it. with this, we have like a nice frame, a shape that we can build up a base from. And so the base we would print in like say black or gray, and then we'd have a gold printed insignia on top, and the
Mm,
container would be in the bottom.
cool.
Yeah. And I'm gonna basically just steal the design of this part. This is the magic piece right here. Is
Yeah.
the compartment shell that is. And what was interesting is I was trying to see if there was like, oh, has anyone ever designed a 3D print template of something like this before? But I have no idea what to call this latch mechanism. Um, and I even, I asked AI, I asked Google, like, what do you call like a battery compartment with like a little push tab? Like, nothing.
No, so you could pretty much make up your own thing. Call
Pretty
it as
much.
a doodle. Nah, I don't know. That's not a good joke.
So, first thing we're gonna do, so this was an SVG, again, is a vector file that I designed in, I just took the EFSF logo and traced it in Adobe Illustrator and exported it as vectors. What we do is we import it directly into our software here, convert it into a mesh. So it's no longer a curve, it's going to be a mesh. And then that's going to allow us to give it some depth. Now, right now, it is currently 14.5 millimeters wide by 16 millimeters tall. To give you guys an idea, that is exceptionally tiny. Uh,
Oh,
so we are going to scale it up
thinking.
a little bit for sure. Um, yeah, so like that's 19 millimeters right there. And I know some guys in the audience here are getting intimidated.
That's good.
For perspective, the width on my logo, whoop, wow, it like errored out on me. That's how bad this got. All right, so the width on my logo base is 128 millimeters wide by 137 millimeters tall. So again, I think we can go bigger than this. At minimum, like you said, we need it to fit something like a
Yeah.
wow. And so like this is actually even larger than my micrometer can go here. Let's zero it out and let's like measure from the base to about here, which is 97 millimeters plus 87. 97 plus 87 is 170, 184. So 184. Let's just make it a clean 200 millimeters long. That way we've got plenty of clear space to fit in
Yeah.
whatever. Right? Sounds good.
And that is longer than a beam saber blade, a typical beam saber blade.
Yeah, I would say so. I mean,
Yeah.
like here I've got this is
Yeah.
the Gundam Mark II beam saber, I want to say.
Yeah.
So fairly. I mean, you could even put it in on the runner.
Ah, cool. Which
Um,
I do that a lot. I tend to keep beam saber blades in runners. Like, I'll cut one maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, as far as like posing Gunpla goes, I don't think I typically don't pose with beam weapons. I typically pose with like rifles or bazookas.
Yeah, if I
Does
do
that
it
say
with
something
the
about us?
well, yeah, if I do with a beam saber, it's usually just one. Um,
Yeah.
yeah.
The only time that I've actually posed a model kit with a beam saber was the Bawu, and that was because it was a lit up beam saber. So,
Oh, yeah, that's cool. That's cool.
so we're gonna take this. Let's set it to the center here. So 0, 0. Likewise, we're going to take this, select all. Let's hit it to the center, 0, 0. Ooh, well, that's not good. I don't like the way that. So let's put these back. Here's what we're going to do real quick, because this is one of those quirks of Blender is like when you're centering things based on the mean of an object, um, like the mean location, it just gets funny. So what we're going to do is we're going to join it, we're going to tab in, we're going to select everything and set it to the origin of 0, 0. And then we can come in here and hit separate by loose parts. And I think it would be very helpful for us if we added a second material here, right? Because it's getting difficult to see the black on
Oh,
black.
yeah.
So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to add another material. We're going to create a new one. We're going to set the base color to uh, gold because that's the plan, right? We're going to make the
Yeah.
crest gold. And let's tab in, hit all, hit assign, and interesting that it's like white and not gold.
Yeah.
There we go. I think I had nodes turned on.
Oh,
Those darn nodes.
nodes. Come on. Yeah.
So, first things first, how tall do you think this action base needs to be?
Oh, that's a good question. Um, I wonder if it should be what is your thought of like a default angled? Um, or
Like,
should it be symmetrical?
that's a good question. I guess it depends on like
Yeah.
the weight distribution. So I think that the hyper mega launcher here would be comfortable in a 30 millimeter tall, a 30 millimeter tall. Oh, did it not? Oh, this is one of those things where it doesn't have any volume. um, so let's see here. We're gonna select it. We're gonna tab in. We're gonna select everything. Um, we're gonna do some mesh cleanup here because I'm always worried about these things. We're gonna say merge by distance. Did not remove any meshes. That's good. And then this is one of these new tricks that I've discovered that I really love is this limited dissolve. It ends up creating a ton of n-gons, but that's okay because it's actually going to help us in the long run. Plus, it's going to allow us to do some cool things with the shape of our action base. So first things first, I'm going to extrude it upwards by, I think I said 30 millimeters.
Mhm.
Uh, Dang, that looks pretty tall. But to your point, I think that it's going to look better if it's not just like a flat, like if it's got like a bit of a bevel to it, like a little angle
Yeah.
to it. So yeah, let's go ahead and do that. Let's just add a bevel to this edge. Um, maybe.
Oh.
Oh, let's see. Should we do it by like five? Oh, 5 is not the right answer. Maybe 0.5. No, 0.5 is still too much. 0.1? Whew, man, the scale on this thing is just silly. 0.005. Okay, that's too small, but
Just think that if someone was carving something by hand, they wouldn't just, like, be able to guess and then, like, put it back. Man, it's so crazy to think.
yeah, technology is beautiful.
It
I
is.
love what we are able to do with this. Um, yeah, dang, look at that. That I think that this is going to look a lot cooler than if I were to just have it like
Yep.
straight up. Do I have
That does look
cavity
cool.
turned on? I do. Okay, cool. I wanted to make sure that we can see these edges, and that's one of the things that's always tricky. Let's see, world cavity. Now let's do screen cavity or both. Maybe that'll give us the. Basically, I'm just looking for that edge highlighting that's going to show us exactly what it looks like. And then, of course, one of the things that I always like to do, you guys have seen me use this trick in the past. We are going to select these round edges here. We're going to set the crease of them to 1 because then that will allow us to come in here and add a subdivision surface modifier. And you see how that kind of gives us this, it's going to smooth out all of this
Yeah.
geometry. Although it looks like what I need to do is come in here and grab some of the edges because the edges need to be creased as well. We're going to grab these 4 edges and bump them up. There we go. That is looking
That's pretty
crisp.
cool. That is
So it's coming together here.
yeah.
Now, from there, we've got our Federation symbol here. It looks like the bevel actually made it a little too,
Mhm.
like a little too small. That's okay. What I'm just going to do is we're going to come in, select all. Let's take a view from the top. No, from the top. There we go. And this is cool because it actually shows you where the highlighted edge is, and we're
Yeah,
just going to scale it down to fit right inside our shield shape. And this
that
doesn't
looks
have to be
cool.
that precise, right? Like,
Yeah, yeah.
so from there, this is mostly decorative, so it doesn't really matter how tall it is. I'm thinking if we let's first do our tricks here. We're gonna merge by distance, removes 20 vertices. Impressive. Then we are going to do our cleanup limited dissolve. That should reduce it to a single face instead of having like all the jagged geometry to work with. Um, then we are going to extrude it by, I don't know, what do you think, like 5 millimeters, 10 millimeters? We can select the whole thing and just bring it so that it just barely intersects with the action base proper. Yeah, I think that this is coming
Looks
together pretty nicely. I think
Yep.
that then this is where we have to get kind of creative with how we handle the beveling. Um, Now, how do we want to do this? I guess one way would be to select this entire top face and just kind of inset. Ooh, maybe not inset. Can we? So it's not outset that we want. Whoa. Boundary? No. Individual faces? No. Man, this is oof. So I think that it's just too complicated of a. It's too complicated of a shape for Blender to like automatically calculate what the inset would be. So what we might have to do is how do I want to do this? This is the tricky part. So I'm gonna extrude again, but this time by like 2 millimeters, and then we can grab a couple of points and start joining them in particular ways. So here's what I'm thinking is like we grab this and we just grab all of these points. And then what we're going to do is hit merge vertices at center.
Hmm.
If we start doing this kind of across the entire surface, it's going to give us exactly the bevel that we're looking for. So like if we grab this one, let's try this one out. Merge at center. All right, grab this one and this one. Merge at center. So you see how it's like starting to give us that bevel and it's like perfectly
Yeah.
lined up in the middle. And again, this is like my cheap workaround because as I mentioned, I am not a 3D modeler by trade. So I have to
Kinda
come
hack
up
your
with
way.
these yeah, hack things
Reminds me back
together.
in the day with WordPress. I had no idea how to build websites. I just go look at the WordPress code and just change things.
You got to do what you got to do. Um, let's see. So these ones are going to be tricky because it's like there's more points along the bottom than there are along the top. So I'll have to select several and kind of get what I think is a good average. See, like I think that was too many. Let's merge at center. And honestly, what I might do is let's just take these last three and hit dissolve. And that just about does it. Let's grab these ones and merge at last. It looks a little janky. I think I could probably do better.
Yeah, it depends, I
Like,
guess. Zoomed out, can you notice it?
Yeah, it does, like, you can kinda
It's a
see
lot.
if
Yeah.
we look at it, yeah, it kind of gets a little wonky. There's gotta be a good way to do this that's not going to completely, uh, ruin this model. Um, let's just undo what we did. And I wonder if we can honestly just scale it in a little bit and I mean, there's a little bit it looks a little bit better, but still
That's
not
kinda cool.
ideal because
Yeah.
obviously it doesn't scale uniformly. I'm just really bothered by the fact that the inset doesn't work the way that we want it to. Um, hmm, I don't know. We'll have to figure that part out later
Yeah.
because right now I'd like to focus on getting this compartment built along the bottom.
Yeah.
Uh,
That's gonna be cool.
so, in order to do that, we are going to have to add another mesh. We're going to add a cube, just our little standard cube here. And so, like the size of this compartment on this battery case, it's not going to be obviously, we're going to need something a lot bigger if we're going to try and stuff giant Gundam weapons in it. But
Yeah.
it's about 46 millimeters wide. So, if we were to take this cube and let's make it 50 millimeters wide, and then we make it, I don't know, what do you think? Like 120 millimeters tall. That gives us like a pretty big panel that can go on the bottom. Because essentially, this is what we're looking at. Is like, okay, how big can we make this panel that goes on the bottom uh, without messing up our action base? So we've got 120 wide, and then maybe like because we know it's 200 tall, we can't go that large with it. But if we do this, and is that really 000? That can't be right. I guess we're just gonna have to do it like this and position it this way. Um, I think that that might still be a little bit wide. I'm gonna take it down to like 100 wide, and I think that this is gonna be a good shaped panel for us. The other thing that I'm interested in is obviously what the depth is on this. I think it's at least a few millimeters. Wow, it's only 1.5. So we can
Huh.
actually take this down because our panel is currently 2 millimeters. So let's set this to 1.5. And that is our,
Hmm.
that's it. Um, job done. All right, you guys ready to go
Alright.
home? No. What I think we need to do next is then design this little. So there's two key components to it, right? Is we've got the little hook that goes in before you snap this part in, and then this is where like the play is in the design that allows it to flex and bend. And so we're basically going to design this little U-shaped plate on top of it. So let's hide this for just a moment. And let's see, how tall is our little U plate here? Is 9.6 millimeters. So from here, let's add another cube and we're going to bring it over here. Let's see how wide this is. I don't know why I'm measuring to this because it's like honestly we can make the clip whatever size we want to.
Yeah.
But
Good reference though, I guess, to kind of figure this out because you never know.
yeah,
You
and
never
if there's one thing that I've learned, it's that I'm not an engineer.
Oh, I
Um,
wonder yeah, 'cause you could even go further with this. What if you can print it to where it's like a sliding piece that's embedded in it?
yeah,
But that just seems like that would be so much math and oh, yeah, I
I'm
don't know.
sure that that Grok could help us with
Oh,
that.
there you go. Is that has that been your chatbot of choice, Grok?
Lately, it has been. I'll be honest with you.
Cool.
obviously, I don't think it generates as good art assets and images, that kind of
Mm,
thing. For that, I use Adobe Firefly, but like for
yeah.
coding, I've been using Grok, and it
Ah, okay.
surprisingly, this was a few nights ago. I was tinkering on the Mag Max video game, right?
Yeah.
And I had been using ChatGPT for a lot of the code updates. But sometimes like the updates that ChatGPT would suggest actually broke my character controller. So it was like,
Oh, wow.
clearly it's not smart enough. like
Yeah.
and so what I ended up doing was I uploaded my character controller to Grok, and I was like, "Hey, can you build out these features based on what's existing here?" And it was like, "Oh, I mean, I'll do that." And rather than use the add force method that you're currently using in order to push the rigid body around on the surface, we're going to use a momentum calculator that's going to give you much more realistic and it just improves the game feel because
Wow.
right now I don't think that my game felt bad, but it did feel very, glidey. Like, it didn't feel
Okay.
like how sometimes you play a third-person action game and it's like you can feel the steps, and I think you've
Yeah,
talked
it's like
about
you
this with
have to
Crimson Desert.
match yeah, the movement with the animation, that's like a whole other art form in itself.
Yeah, so this helped with that, a lot,
Wow. Okay, that's cool.
a lot, a lot.
You know what?
Um
A second or a few minutes ago, my cat was on my lap, and, I'm like, "Okay, fine," 'cause sometimes she could be annoying, but one of her claws got into my leg like a needle, and I could see the blood coming out, and so I'm sitting here just, "Oh my" it's not bad, but it's just hilarious that it happened to happen live, and, oh my gosh, that
well,
you need to
to
get
your
involved.
credit, you held it together, you didn't,
Yeah, I know. Well, because I felt something sting, and I'm like, "Oh, what was that like a" when I scratched myself, maybe a hair I, like, yanked or something, but I look and I see the red dot, and then it hurts more. I'm like, "Oh, no." But you know how it is when the kids see how they hurt themselves, then it hurts more.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Um, let's see,
So,
is
one of the
this
things about cats, I feel like there's more chances a cat is going to kill you than a dog.
yeah, 100%.
Yeah, and it could be just accident. Usually, if it's a dog, it's no one that unfortunately was probably trained improperly, because dogs do pretty good when they're around humans that are gentle to, be gentle, uh,
That's true.
dogs.
Um, I was actually surprised at how good, our dog Cinderella is with the kids, considering,
Oh, yeah.
she's,
Yeah.
uh, you know both of our dogs were rescues, but, like, we had Cooper since he was a puppy and, like, RIP big guy.
Yeah.
But, he kind of had his own, like he was like, "Hey, man, like, I don't like, I love you guys, but I don't love you that much. Like, don't keep these kids around me."
Oh, okay, so the dog, as the kids were getting more handsy, would
Yeah.
wanna kinda stay yeah, I get it. Yep.
Um, Whereas Cinderella is just, I think she's just too stupid to be mean.
Yeah. That's funny.
All right, so here is our 2 millimeter fin, basically. We're going to take that, we're going to actually duplicate it because what we need is that U shape that I mentioned earlier. Um, let's see what we can do here because I actually think we can match the schematics of this clip that I've become so attached to. So we need it to be about 2 millimeters apart from the existing one. So the best way to do that, let's take this, we're going to select it, we're going to grab the Y value, copy, we're going to grab this one, select the whole thing, we're going to set the Y value to the same thing, except we're going to do plus. I think we're actually going to need to do it 4 because they're 2 millimeter wide blocks, and that looks perfect. The other thing, obviously, since this is 1.5 millimeters, we're going to grab z-axis negative 1.5, and now it should line up perfectly with the base of the plate. And then we kind of have to design our little uh the little tab that you get with your thumb when
Yeah.
you're actually popping it out. So that we need it to be, wow, it's only half a millimeter thick, um, which is fine. I mean, I think that the layer height, like the minimum layer height on my 3D printer, I've gone as low as 0.12. So
Oh, wow.
I think
Okay.
I think we're okay in that regard. I'm gonna copy the Z here. We're gonna insert a loop cut. Oh, there we go. Did I create multiple loop cuts? I did not mean to. But we're gonna select this. We're gonna set the Z to this plus 0.6, just to give it that extra little something. And then we're going to go to our face select mode and extrude this out. Oh, nope, not grab, extrude. Let's see. How tall is this clip? Looks like it's about 3 millimeters. So let's do -3. And then this is where we are going to kind of give it that little round shape. And we're going to do this using a little bevel trick. If we bevel it in, but we increase our segments, segments. Oh, there we go. Yeah, that looks good. So yeah, our little clip is coming together here. The next
That's
step
neat.
is going to be to delete these faces because we want to join these two edge loops. And I don't know if this is going to work. I've not done this successfully in the past, but as I understand it, there is a magical tool in Blender, because there's a tool in Blender for everything.
Okay.
There's a magical tool under the bridge edge loops where we can actually go
Oh.
into the settings here, and we're going to set it to a sphere. Smoothness, can we increase that? Can we increase the profile factor? That doesn't really do it. Twist. Twist isn't doing it. Here we go. Number of cuts. That is sort of helping, but not quite. So the profile factor we don't want to mess with, but the smoothness, what about that? Smoothness, we've got it all the way up to 2. We do a blend path. There, I know there's a way that this works where, I mean, we've got 14 cuts. I don't think we want any twist. Yeah, we want it to be flat like that. Merge factor, 1. Profile shape, what, linear? No. Sphere looks like the right shape, right? It's like closed loop? No. Open loop? I thought there was a way to do this to where it like would arch over, and I'm not seeing it.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
So let's
To
see.
kinda help with the give for the bend?
Exactly. I just want to basically mimic what it's got going on here. Now, there are like cheap ways I can do it, but I could have sworn that there was a way to do this bridge edge loops, set our number of cuts to be higher so that we have more geometry to work with, and then kind of like arc it. But it might be the case that we're just going to have to do my little cheap way of doing it. And you know what? Sometimes it's like what they say about cameras, right? Where it's like the best camera is
Oh,
one that
the
you're
photographer.
familiar with.
Oh, that line.
Yeah. So we're gonna
It's
extrude
true.
along the Z axis here. We'll do it by like, I don't know, just 1 millimeter. Well, let's make it 2 just to be safe. Then we're just going to bridge these. We're going to extrude these ones up by 1 millimeter. And then we can kind of basically square this up like this.
Hmm.
and then I'm gonna go in and bevel it.
No, that's
When
good. Your
in
own
doubt,
custom.
bevel it.
You can patent your own beveled bridge.
Probably after the stream, I'm gonna look up some YouTube video about how to do this properly. But for the sake of the stream must go on. We don't have time to
Yeah.
be going into YouTube and seeing how people are supposed to do this. Wait, that. Oh, so I should probably go. Oh, let's mesh. Merge by distance. I might have some vertices that are outstanding here. Let's see if this works now. For some reason, it's not letting me extrude that. You know what I think is probably happening, and I can tell because of the direction that the bevel is facing, is if I pull up face orientation, this whole thing is oriented the wrong way. So when it comes to face orientation, every face, every model has like an inside and an outside, and Blender
Oh,
has this handy tool that tells you, hey, what's the inside and outside of your model? And this entire clip that I've just designed is actually completely inside out. So we're going to go
wow.
normal.
Now, I would not even. What? You've ordered my brain. I quit.
So now, do you see how the direction of the bevel tool is changed?
I see. Yeah, I see what you're saying. That makes sense.
Still didn't fix it though. So
Wow.
let's see if we can't do this. We're going to triangulate faces and then go tries to quads and see if that helps our geometry at all. Man, it really is just not letting me bevel. I mean, I suppose I could always just do this and like scale on the Y, like 0.5. And then on the inside here, we'll scale Y 0.5. And that basically gives us the shape that we're looking for. Again, it's a cheap workaround. And I think it's just because of the way that I created it that the geometry is not the way it should be in order to allow me to do what I need to do. And then what I might do is actually, let's grab this face and just bring it down. Grab Z -1. No, -0.5. There we go. And that's just going to give it a little bit more structural integrity there.
Okay.
So there we go. We've got part of our panel designed. The next thing we are going to need is the little tab that kind of hooks into the part. Now this, so again, I'm going to try and design this thing so that it doesn't need any supports while it's printing. So if this is, let's imagine this is printing flat on the bed like this. This is okay because even though this normally would require a support in the middle to keep it up, it's such a small distance. It's only 2 millimeters. Like I've been able to bridge much larger distances than 2
Oh,
millimeters
okay.
so far. Even like on this purge tower, actually, this is a perfect example. So in the purge tower, there are actual bridges. So it's like they're unsupported like strands across the top here, and the unsupported strands are 8 millimeters wide. So I think that we could comfortably print anything that is 8 millimeters or less without supports, basically free hanging.
That's cool.
So
That is
2
good to know.
millimeters, we're good.
Yeah, that's cool.
Now that said, the way that this is designed, it's got this little tab that comes out, and if that tab is too long, that is going to need supports. So what we're going to do, and we're going to add another cube here. Let's grab it and pull it down to the bottom. I just realized that I don't even know if this is centered to this. So let's grab this. We're going to grab our X value. We're going to grab this. We're going to set our X value to be the same. There we go. So we'll grab this, set the X value to be the same thing, just to make sure everything is all centered up. This one on this tab is 19.7 millimeters wide. So if we scale on the X by 10, that makes it 20 millimeters. See, sometimes I do maths.
Yeah.
But I'm going to show you guys a trick here that I'm going to use in order to prevent having to print this thing with supports. First, we're going to grab this. We're going to grab the Y value here. We're going to set the Y value of this to be the same so that it lines up with the edge here. And then I'm going to set the Y value of this to be this plus 2. So it'll be 2 millimeters into the part. We're going to select the whole thing. We're going to turn on snapping, and then we're going to grab Z, which that makes it flush against our plate here. And now the idea is, so the tab that they are working with, I think is again like a 0.5 millimeter. Yeah. I'm going to scale ours by, actually, no, I don't want to scale it because that will lift it off the plate and I don't want to do that. So let's just grab this and do -1. Whoop. There we go. So now it's only 1 millimeter tall. Then we're going to just grab this edge and let's make it like their overhang is about 2.5 millimeters. So let's just do -2.5. And there is our tab. And I don't think it's going to need to be supported because we have that angled edge to
Angled.
it.
Nice.
That's the secret right there. Now, what I might do actually, just to make sure that it sits comfortable when it's clipped in, let's take the whole thing. We're going to grab it. We're going to lift it up by like, let's do 1 millimeter. And then we will grab the bottom and extrude it downward by 1 millimeter. So that way it has the clip and it has like a little flush edge so that it's, because the last thing I want is for that little notch to like be rubbing up against the inside that we're going to make to match it.
Oh, yeah.
So there we go. That
Wow.
is our little plate that's going to go in the base of our action base of
That's
our
impressive.
master base.
Now, another thing, and I again don't want to scope creep here, but I feel like you could add like universal like clips to the inside bottom of the tray or the
Oh yeah, kind of like the Gridfinity stuff that people do.
oh, I don't know
Have you
what
seen
that
that
is.
kind of stuff?
No, what
Where
is it
like
called?
Gridfinity, it's this like open source drawer organizing system that allows
Oh.
people to like
Oh,
you can design these drawer organizers that like all clip into this grid that's, like you said, it's universal. It's like modular.
that's neat. No, yeah, I was thinking like, to like maybe a certain weapon or something could like clip in, like you know what I
Oh,
mean? So it's like if you wanted some things to sit,
and that way they don't rattle around in there.
yeah, maybe, I again, it's so much scope creep.
But this is how these things work, is it's just iterative design, honestly.
Yeah,
Like to me, I don't think it's a scope creep. It's
cool.
just, you
The
know,
next thing.
yeah, and because obviously we're sitting here working on something that I'm surprised isn't just like a standard thing that
Yeah.
Bandai does.
Because I told you this, I would be exclusively buying stands with storage if that was an option this whole time,
Right? Like, so
yeah.
would I.
Because I'm always on Amazon when they have the Bandai, stands on sale. They're usually a 2-pack. I'll
Yeah.
grab a couple every few months, you know? Um,
So now the next part of this, and this is going to be a little trickier, and we're running out of time because obviously the stream is coming to an end. But just to kind of give you guys an idea of next steps, what we would have to do and I will show you guys just by the face orientation. We'll go in here, and what we're actually going to do is select this bottom face. We're going to inset by, what was it, like 0.005 that we have to do. Let's do 0.01. And then I would basically delete this face because we just want the hollowed out inside. And then once we have the hollowed out inside, we'll just design around the box that, because then I
Yeah.
think it would be cool where it's like, yeah, the plate is only like 120 millimeters by 190 millimeters. But when you open it, like the inside of the box is actually bigger than just the doorway. Does that make
Yeah.
sense?
Yeah, I think that's a great idea.
But for now, this is where I'm going to leave you guys. This is prototype A of what I guess is going to be our new universal action base.
Universal Action Base. Wow, UAB.
Oh man, that sounds cool.
Yeah,
I think that's a
that does.
university in Alabama, though.
That's funny.
Well, thank you guys for indulging me on this little design journey and going down this little rabbit hole of mock-ups and all that good stuff. Yeah, well, all this is suffice to say that there's going to be a lot more fun Gunpla products coming down the pipe on the website.
Looks like
Hopefully,
it.
that will fund our MagMex journey together. Thank you, Adam, as always, for the many awesome suggestions. Shout out to Ian. I know you probably left in the chat, but shout out to Ian for the super chat.
Yeah,
Don't forget, we've got the Gundam Explained show tomorrow, 8 Eastern,
that's right.
7 Central. Anything else that I'm missing?
No, I think it's about it.
Sounds good. Well, thank you guys again. Have a great rest of your evening, and we will see you next time.
See ya.
Cheers.